And what I should do is I should actually put the book cover up. That's what I should do, right? Let's do that so that people know what we are doing today. So we are, this is what we're doing. We're talking
Oh, sorry.
about
They
this
are
book from Sherry. This is Lessons from Lonzo. Peace Practices Inspired by a Four-Legged Friend. Talking books, because some of us don't read them, and that definitely includes me and Mandy. So this is book 13 in the series. We had Ken Cloke's Magic in Mediation on Monday, so please watch that. That's, of course, listening to Ken is always a pleasure. His words of wisdom, and now Sherry's words of peace. Sherry, what we're going to do is that we're going to do a little introduction about yourself. Then I'll just go through whatever has been happening, what's been coming up, what's coming up, a little bit on the World Mediation Circle. So, Sherry, a little bit about yourself.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for having me here today. It's a pleasure always to spend time and share space with you, Mediator Vikram. Me, gosh, that's always a funny question. I never know where to start. So do you start with your work stuff? Do you start with your family stuff? So I'm a small town girl from a small town in rural Wisconsin called Prairie du Chien, and I made my way through college and law school and worked for a number of nonprofits as a legal aid attorney and opened a mediation practice in 2019. And through it all has been my own inner peace, outer peace journey. And I was blessed to meet Lonzo at a Humane Society a number of years ago. And Lonzo is the one who transformed me in the greatest way to really, really lean into my own sense of inner peace and the power that I have to create peace in my life, because he was just so peaceful in all circumstances.
So this is what people have to learn. They have to learn from four-legged friends. There are lots to learn there. So yes. But what I think what I do, let's not take too much time of yours. We have someone with us who's very good at telling us about these things. Mandy, you want to tell us a little bit about the World Mediation Circle? Okay, you can also tell us about the launch yesterday of the Greece Mediation Circle, which was really nice. And then a little bit about the World Mediation Circle, and then we'll go straight to the book. Yes, Mandy, what do you say?
Yesterday we had a very beautiful experience here in Greece, being hosted by you in this beautiful space of your living room in YouTube. Many beautiful spirits and souls of mediation in Greece came together and shared their love for mediation, connecting with this international mediation circle that is all the time growing, which is I have a sense that is going there will be a huge big bang. It is growing very fast. I feel lately, because everybody wants to be connected in this base of values and trust, which is a very safe environment, and people feel free to be authentically themselves and have experience of good, not only do good things, but experience good, which is something, the most important thing that this huge thing you create brings to the world. And I'm very grateful. I have here from my small island in Greece, I feel like I'm a member of a very beautiful, not only community, but family also. It's a very beautiful experience.
So nice, Mandy. So nice. That's why I asked Mandy to talk about it. So she has these very nice words to say. And definitely, I can't say all that. So
Yeah, not words. It's feelings that become words.
so basically, on mediatorvikram.com, basic idea behind the World Mediation Circle is there. Let's not take Sherry's time, too much of time there. So please read about that, the moral values, principles, and ethics-based humanistic approach. And there's a link to a form there which you can fill up if you want to be part of the circle. And a little bit about the circles which have already been launched is out here. The India, indigenous peoples, reflective practice, commercial mediation, UN sustainable goals, then refugee, international organization, family, media nos. Lots to say, Sherry. I don't think we should take so much of your time, but I would at some stage maybe just I have this little slideshow which I do, which takes us through the circles. I would love to do that. Maybe I should quickly do that. I think that's not a bad idea. Why not? Sherry, are you okay with that?
I'm perfectly okay with it.
But the whole idea, Sherry, is now to
Dog
create,
circle.
yeah, but the focus is now on creating circles at the grassroots level, and events will happen. All these shows will happen because if a person like you writes a book, we must talk about it. So those shows and events, not, I mean, won't be so many, but we'll keep doing that. The whole idea is let's create the circles which are going to be created in schools, colleges, communities, organizations. So we've had the Indigenous Peoples Mediation Circle, the reflective practice. So we'll have reflective practice groups as part of all the circles. And Michael would definitely work with us on that. And then the International Commercial Mediation Circle, the UN Sustainable Goals. A lot of work there, Sherry, a lot of work here because this is, I mean, I keep saying that goal number 17 is about collaboration to achieve the goals, and mediation and mediators definitely will play a major role in that. And then the refugee, there are also lots of work, organizational, create that space for an organizational mediator. And the family mediation circle, every family should have one, Sherry. Every family should create a circle. This is the game that Massimiliano has created for people to experience conflict resolution in a game. Instead of teaching them, why not let them experience it? And the school and college. All the links to all the recordings are there on the website. So if you go down to that mediation circle section, environmental, climate change, natural disaster, and sustainability, then the Israel-Palestine mediation circle. And then what we're going to do is we have the launch, then we have lots of gatherings of the circle. So Israel Palestine is the hot topics. We've had 4 gatherings of that after the launch. This is a college in Delhi which has created a Suleh circle, not mediation, they call it Suleh, and part of the larger college mediation circle. Artificial intelligence, lots of work to happen here. Then we had a gathering of the Israel Palestine mediation circle, get together of the World Mediation Circle, Turkey, and another gathering. And the book that Massimiliano has written has he's spoken about the game, and he also, it was nice to ask me to write the preface to the book, which was, when he's doing, I mean, just the thought that he has to create a community is really nice. And just to reach out to people. Ecuador, I mean, the 3 of them are doing wonderful work in Ecuador. And Ecuador itself is doing a lot of work in mediation. This is my community here. Ghana, and the book, Ken's book. Then another gathering. Little celebration. Last minute invitations went out. I don't know, there's so much happening. Did not send any invitation. Now the last minute sent out. People came in yesterday with this. Today we are doing this, and then tomorrow we are doing this, and then we have another gathering of the Greece Mediation Circle on 14th February. Remember this, Mandy?
Yes.
14th February.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. And that's about it, Sherry. So it's all about you, Sherry, the book, and please, thought behind it, wherever, whatever, and then we'll come in.
Oh my goodness, there's just so much depth to this. And I love that Mandy was sharing about the authenticity because that is one of the premises of this book. There's a lesson on authenticity, because when we are our true authentic self, and I think our true nature is peace. Our true nature is peace and love and joy. And throughout life, we sometimes distance ourselves from that. And these little four-legged friends like Lonzo remind us of that, because he was gentle with himself. He was gentle with the people around him, and he really just embodied gentleness.
Yeah,
And so there's, go ahead.
you're going to start with how you found Lonzo, what that connection was the first time you met Lonzo.
Absolutely. You know, if I might, because it sounds like some folks don't actually read the book, I might go ahead and read the preface, if I may. It's very simple. So, as Mom and I sit at lunch, I toss out possible names for the furry four-legged critter awaiting adoption from the Lakes Area Humane Society. Mom mentions Dad's middle name, Alonzo, and I exclaim another version of it, Lonzo. That is it. Let us back up a few days, though. On April 9th, 2009, I visit LAHS. Their tag calls him Elroy. And as much as I love the old TV show, The Jetsons, the name does not seem to fit this furry guy. The quietest among the group and full of mangled hair, this four-legged 5-year-old confidently crawls into my lap. We seem to simultaneously declare, we are a match. If only my human matching could prove so simple. It remains no coincidence we meet on Holy Thursday, a time that marks the power of love and transformation. Lonzo's peaceful presence opens space for tremendous love and plays a significant role in my own transformation. Prior to his passing on June 15th, 2021, I began writing the ways Lonzo inspires me to be gentler with myself, gentler with the people around me, and overall more at peace and peaceful. His teachings slowly evolve into this book, Lessons from Lonzo. I am ready now to share his spirit in hopes it brings similar healing to your heart, smiles to your soul, and the comfort of personal peace.
Sherry, when did he come into your life?
Lonzo came into my life back in 2009. And when I think back, it was a big transition time. My dad had passed away, and I had a number of losses. And my dad and my grandma had passed away. My sister-in-law was dying of cancer and would die not long after Lonzo came into my life. And so there was just so much going on. It felt like family-wise and medical-wise for many loved ones. And he was just this bundle of peace and joy. And life just seemed simpler with him. Every day, I would take him for a walk multiple times a day, at least in the morning and the evening, and sometimes a little noon walk, and other times to go outside. And he slows down the pace of life, right? And really helps me. One of the lessons is be here now. And he really helps me be wherever I am in that present moment.
Unconditional love.
Unconditional love. Absolutely. Absolutely. And what I find is I don't get angry with him. Like, I get a little frustrated. And when I tell the stories, and one of the lessons is hide your panties. Because when guests would come to visit, I would have to say, hide your panties. Lonzo does not discriminate. He likes panties, boxers, briefs. If he finds them, if he can access them, he will chew on them. And his uncles got him a dog tag that said Panty Bandit. So we definitely learned the lesson of just including humor in life. Like, no matter, it seems sometimes what we did, there were he was going to get them. He was going to find his way to get them and chew on them a little. And it became a little bit of a humorous thing. And one time he ate the cheese platter. He took an entire cheese platter off the living room table and he just started chewing it and eating it up. And I had just gone into another room for just a few moments to show some friends that were over visiting, which is why we had a cheese platter out. And he delved into that with his whole heart. And of course, he didn't weigh the consequences. Like that short-term benefit was going to lead to a little long-term pain for him. And so one of the lessons is about weighing the consequences.
But
And
but pain in what sense? He will have upset stomach. What would happen?
yeah, he had a little upset stomach and some things were coming out in ways that he probably didn't find comfortable. Yeah.
But he wasn't given a whack for that, was he? He wasn't given a whack.
No,
How did you? Oh yeah, how did he manage? How did he manage? I mean, of course, Lonzo definitely was up to a lot of things, but how did you treat him? How did you did you tap him on the head and put one of those shots on the head with something?
No, I didn't. Like, I think, especially in that one, he knew the natural consequences. He knew if I raised my voice, Lonzo.
Okay, that was how it happened.
Lonzo.
And what was Lonzo's reaction? Are there any pictures of Lonzo? Do we have pictures? Some pictures? Have you got some which you want to show us?
I don't have any easily access, but the picture on the cover is kind of a younger version of Lonzo with his full embodiment of hair. And then sometimes I would shave him down pretty much. Because one time we went hiking. One of our favorite places to go hiking was Lake Carla State Park, which is close to my home in Alexandria, Minnesota. And one day we were out with a friend and we went on a different trail for some reason with taller grass. And I hadn't really thought about it. It was springtime in Minnesota. So when we got out of the woods, he was just covered in brown spots, which are wood ticks. And so a friend and I were both just like pulling them off as fast as I could. And that's where when you have someone that can help and support you in your endeavors is so important too. And so this whole concept, if we back up to being gentle with you, Lonzo was super gentle with himself. He took care of his needs. He would lick his wounds as needed. He would pause if we were out walking on the street and it was super duper cold and icy, as it does sometimes get in Minnesota. He would lift his paw. And that was the sign to me to carry him. And he would ask for help and he would accept the help. And sometimes I think as humans, we don't always ask for it. And then sometimes we ask for it and we want it, but we don't always accept it. And so this book is really an invitation to both the inner peace and the outer peace through these three core messages. And after each lesson, there's 63 lessons, 21 under each of these core messages. And there's 3 questions after each, and they invite folks to reflect. And you have an opportunity to write about it. It's not an obligation, certainly, to write about it. It's fun. One of my friends said she got it, and they were reading it together as a family. And then there's the 3 questions at the end that they could answer. So that was kind of fun to hear.
But I mean, look, for me, of course, reading books is out, but I would read the back cover and maybe the contents. So would you take us through that? What does the back cover look like? What do you see on the back cover?
The back cover is a series of quotes from people. And one of them.
Yeah.
And so one of them is actually the gentleman who wrote the foreword, and he says this. Michael Gregory, he's written a number of books himself, and including the Collaboration Effect. And so Michael writes, Sherry Ann Bruckner's Lessons from Lonzo is a heartwarming and delightful journey that invites readers to explore the profound wisdom derived from the life of her beloved 4-legged companion, Lonzo. Through a series of precious and cute stories featuring Lonzo, Bruckner masterfully weaves in insightful and meaningful reflections that inspire and uplift the reader. Bruckner's gentle and warm approach resonates effortlessly. creating an emotional connection that makes you feel like you are sharing these moments with an old friend. As you immerse yourself in the narrative, you will find not only adorable anecdotes, but also valuable life lessons that transcend the boundaries between human and pet. The beauty of the book lies not just in the stories, but in the profound questions Bruckner poses, prompting readers to ponder and reflect on their own lives. The journey is not just about Lonzo. It is about finding a more peaceful perspective through the lens of unconditional love and companionship. By the end, you will undoubtedly emerge a better person, carrying a renewed sense of gratitude and a deeper understanding of the meaningful connections that shape our lives. So dive into this charming read and let Lonzo's lessons leave an indelible mark on your heart, sparking newfound joy and contemplation. And that just makes me think also of what the work that you're doing, Mediator Vikram. Mandy mentioned the connections. And again, those connections are so important. The work that you're doing in the World Mediator Circle and all these other circles is so important because we are all connected. And when we have conversations and connect with each other, we start to recognize this commonality or our common humanity. And even with four legs, there's a common needs that we all have. We have a need for sustenance. We have a need for love. We have a need for support and for play. One of the lessons is play every day. And I think sometimes as adults, we forget that. And Lonzo would certainly remind me to play every day. And just that importance of being gentle. So we had asked for other thoughts on the back of the book. Someone wrote, Sherry Ann takes the reader on a delightful journey with her eccentric four-legged friend Lonzo. Be prepared not only to learn peace practices from Lonzo, but to fall in love with him as well. And another person wrote, like kibble for your soul, lessons from Lonzo offers the dog and all of us tasty morsels of wisdom to nourish and sustain, providing nutritious treats to get you through your day. And that was from Jim Mogan. He's a dad, a dog granddad, and a human lawyer. And the previous quote was from Greg Brownick, who is also a civil mediator and a teaching partner at Bethel University.
Very nice, very nice. And I think the important thing is that what you bring as yourself, now whether Lonzo picked up a lot from you, maybe. Also, let me just put up in the terms of the topics that you chose for the World Mediators Conference. So, I mean, anyone can go to YouTube and search Mediator Vikram and Sherry Ann. And what did you do? Awaken your light, empower your practice. Then the other one was clarity, compassion, and curiosity, how to get comfortable with conflict. It was very nice sessions. I mean, people should watch that. Is the one, I mean, what you bring in terms of just the fact that nice peace and that kind of vibe. I don't know whether, when did you watch Sherry's session of the conference? Andy is going to take her time to
No,
unmute.
it was the unmute issue I have. It
Did
was
you
just the issue.
did
And
you
while I was hearing to these beautiful words, I was scrolling the photos of my dogs, and I was traveling in my experiences through the words I was hearing. It was so nice experience.
But did you watch her sessions of the World Mediators Conference? Did you watch those?
Which one?
Sherry's sessions in the World Mediators Conference. Did you watch them?
No,
You did not
the
watch.
first
Okay.
time. I think it's the first time I meet you, my dear. But through the dogs, I believe I will have a straight, strong connection with you, because that's very touching to me. I feel I am a dog. Yeah, I was a dog. I don't know what.
Okay. We'll get you. We'll write your story later. We'll lessons from
No.
Mandy later. But let's get you. Sherry, but what are the contents look like?
the contents, so there, like I said, there's the 3 core messages: be gentle with you, be gentle with all, and be the peace. And so within be gentle with you, there's a series of lessons, 21 of them, as a matter of fact. And they are, you want me to read through all of them?
Yeah, look, this is what I would do if I go to a library or a bookstore. This is what I would do. I look at the back cover, I look at the contents, my book done. Next.
Let me read them to you. They are, for be gentle with you, there's check the dishes, refill your bowl, sniff it out, ignore the barking, get your bone, release the whimper, lick your wounds, share your struggles, raise your paw, let them lift, permit a pause, take a nap, snuggle for warmth, remember to reset, play every day, finish your business, prance occasionally, be here now, allow your authenticity, hide your panties. And then under be gentle with all, there's welcome people joyfully, lead with curiosity, approach with compassion, show genuine interest, perk your ears, loosen expectations, appreciate the awesomeness, give love freely, communicate your boundaries, redirect as needed, practice patience, help your neighbors, provide reassurance, discern your matches, appreciate being together, gently stand guard, chase wisely, give extra grace, let bygones be, and cherish the humans. And finally, under be the peace, center your heart, exist with ease, lovingly attract love, frolic in freedom, relish the path, observe your rituals, weigh the consequences, go off leash, roll over again, be consistently you, enjoy nature, share the sunshine, let ducks be, nudge the door, accept abundant love, embrace the fullness, generate gratitude, awaken your light, create the wonderful, show the way, and gently let go.
So nice. So many nice lessons. So basically, like I said, we have to learn from four-legged or friends. Let's call them friends. So we need lots to learn from them, definitely. But Ramsey, do you have anything that you want to share in relation to your four-legged friend, if any?
I think that four-legged friends are great models to follow in terms of observation. They're great observers, great listeners. I think that is one of the key qualities of Mediator. But as I think is fair to say today, is very much focused on Sherry and Lonzo rather than myself. I'm here to listen rather than participate. Thank you anyway.
Okay, so basically Ramsey's out. We don't get him in now. We just keep, he's just Ramsey, when you have to observe, you have the YouTube channel to watch them on. We bring people in when okay, not an issue, not an issue. So Sherry, so what is the thing now after Lonzo's gone? I mean, things must have been tough for you.
It was really, really tough. I have to say it was one of the more profound losses in my life, because he was such a part of my life and my being. I mean, he was my best buddy, the person or the who I spent really the most time with, because we lived together. I sometimes say he shared his home with me. It was his home that he shared with me. And we would go for walks every day, and he was the one that greeted me when I got home. He would rushed to the garage door. You could see him like peeking through the window. He heard noises from vehicles, and he knew like if it was my mom's vehicle or a friend's vehicle, sometimes pulling in the driveway, and he'd rush to the door, and he would do the same for me. So he would be by the window, and I could see his legs up, and as soon as I was by the driveway, like he was at the garage door as soon as I walked in, and he was just such a huge part of my life. So yeah, it was a real challenge when I lost him, and hence the final chapter being gently let go. It was his time on this earthly plane, and he gave so much in his time, in his being gentle with all, and just being the peace, embodying that peacefulness, that beautiful energy.
There's that really interesting connection between, but I don't want to use the word dog. I mean, it just doesn't sound nice. So let's just say four-legged friends. We'll keep it to that. That connection that people have with their friends actually is very interesting. There's some experiment which I read about with that. There is this person in his office and this friend in the house. He gets up from the office to leave for home. This guy's already got activated and knows exactly when this person comes in. You're talking about listening to the car. Actually, that whole connection started much before that. He knew exactly when the person is going to come in. It was very interesting. I mean, that how does that connection happen? What it is all about? We'll have to really find out how that works, because these are energies which we don't maybe have words for, which also in relation to mediation in that symposium on heart, soul, spirituality and mediation. This is also what I was talking about, that you have this box of mediation and training and all that happens is only what you can actually put into words. So much more is happening in that whole space, which you don't have words for because you don't know what it's all about. So I think this is also one of those things which happen and you really don't have words to put it, I'm sure.
And you're right, we don't always have words. And I loved what Ramsey said about the mediation connection with these furry four-legged friends of ours, because Lonzo was fully aware. The whole idea, he would perk his ears. He was aware of emotions. That, if I was sad, he would come and sit in a different way by me, because he could definitely sense the different energies. And when someone was maybe a little most everyone left him, and there was one person he would bark at. And Lonzo, there's that lesson on gently stand guard or communicate your boundary. Lonzo would communicate the boundaries and say, hey, I'm aware that you're here, and I'm letting you know I'm here too. He wasn't aggressive. He was not a biter. He was not an aggressive dog, but he knew who he was. And he definitely communicated that I value myself and I value you. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm just going to let you know that this is the boundary. And I love that about that. But going back to that awareness that we have and the non-judgmentalness, there's that lesson on let ducks be. So we would walk by a pond, and in the summer months, there would be ducks in there. And Lonzo would go observe them, but he would let them be, because the ducks are just being ducks. And he just had this non-judgmental air about him that, I'm going to let all these other critters be. I'm going to let the humans be. And if they're coming too close to my space, I'm going to maybe let them know. But I'm not ever going to be aggressive or harmful. I'm going to be this energy of peace, was the message that he gave.
But didn't he want to play with the ducks? He didn't want to play with them.
He didn't. He would observe them. He would walk. He was curious about them. He was very curious, which again is another great mediator trait. He was very curious, very interested in people and critters, and not aggressive or judgmental in any way with them.
But what breed was it? I mean, I'm not going to.
Well, we didn't know for sure because I got him at the Humane Society, but they said he was a Bichon Shiatsu or a Bishatsu. depending how you look at it.
Because she's, that was, of course, I don't know so much about the breeds, but of course, he looks like a. No, he does. But interesting. Maybe they're cute little dogs, but how fragile are they? Are they
How big
fragile?
are they?
No, fragile. How fragile are they? Are they fragile?
Fragile.
Do they get hurt when they jump? Do they? Easy?
He could jump. He could jump. Sometimes he surprised me how he could jump, and especially if there was food involved, he could jump pretty high. And he was 15 pounds of solid 15-poundness. And I like that he was. It was funny because growing up, I always thought big dogs, real dogs, were big dogs. And I never imagined myself with a smaller dog, and I was just so grateful. Like he was the perfect size because I could lift him in the vehicle if I needed to, and lift him other places and carry him down the street when there was really icy and his paws got ice chips in them. And
but this picture is at what age? Lonzo at what age?
I would say 5-ish.
Okay, so it was big. It was big. This is how big it would have been.
Yeah, that's about how big he got. His haircut would change a lot, but that was his size. Yeah.
But with that look, and if you were looking into his eyes like that, I mean, sure, would melt you, would give him what he wanted.
Especially his grandma person. His grandma person definitely loved him well.
Sure. That's the whole idea. I think that's also, in a way, their survival instinct and tactic, that they have to kind of create that bond with you, because that's how they're going to get what they also want. So they know how to do that also with those eyes, those cute little eyes, little face, that innocent face. That I mean, we had a dog only when I was young, and after that we haven't kept ones because I just felt for myself didn't have enough time, and I would have had to take care of them, and I don't want to neglect something that you get into the house, someone that you get into a house. So I didn't do that, but it must be really nice. The connection must be really nice.
It definitely is. And just the snuggle, like I don't know about you, Mandy, or anyone else who has a four-legged friend, but Lonzo would love to find the crooks, like the crook of my arm. If I was driving, he would want to have his neck on the crook of my arm. It had to be there. Like he would even sometimes like push my elbow down to get it, or like the crook of my ankle or the back of my knee. He just loved being snuggled into those places. And I know sometimes after a long walk, especially in the winter, I would come in and might lay on the couch for a moment, and he would get on top of my lower legs, and then I just didn't want to move. I felt, well, he's comfortable. I don't want to move.
I think that's a good connection. But bringing up a child and bringing up a four-legged friend, what are the differences there? Any idea they have? Any thoughts on that?
Oh goodness, I don't think I'm the person to speak to that because I never have children, but I have to say children would be much more of a challenge, right? Because Lonzo, I could, at the end of the day, I could lift him and I could move him to the places that I need him to be sometimes. And a child, there's zero control really over anyone, a dog or a child or any being. Yet it was easier, I think, to direct or redirect Lonzo or move him perhaps where he needed to be. And so maybe that's why the infant divine said, Sherry, we think you can handle a dog. We don't know that you can handle a child. Although I love children very much.
Well, Lonzo is your child.
Lonzo is my child, yes.
So maybe, of course, Mandy will be able to tell us because she's seen both. Yes, Mandy? Yeah, what are the differences there?
There is a huge difference to me.
Similarities also. You have to tell us the similarities also.
Yeah, but there is a huge about the topic we are talking about, and it is that with our dogs or any dog, we can be our authentic self. And they permit people to be the authentic self, not only because they don't criticize, but they love you as you are. So they make you love yourself and accept yourself and be real. And if we knew that, we could have awareness of who we are, of what we feel, what we have in our heart, by the way we act when we communicate with a dog. For our children, there are so many things that come up, so many fears and anxious and musts, and what society waits for, and how, if he was going to be happy, the responsibility we feel, the parents we see in us and in our children. It is so difficult to be your authentic self and to feel to trust your authentic self, because we are afraid of our difficulties and traumas, and so we all the time, the mind is always overthinking how to avoid to cause the same traumas to the child, to think in a wrong way, to not be good parents, to what the others say about us. The children are our mirror to the society. The dreams we didn't chase, we try to the children to fulfill this. So complicated with the children, so difficult to be the authentic self. So very challenging and very, very possible to happen, because after a while you realize that anything you may try, but not to hide nothing from a child. So all this thing that we are trying is, we realize that is useless, and some I believe in some point we accept it, and we try to work with ourselves in another way. But dogs are the creatures of nature. They are, to me, they are our angels' guards. That's what I feel. I feel that we have these creatures with the best chances to realize who we are, what we want, what we feel, being free to do that and to be what we are, because we are accepted and loved no matter what.
Indeed. And I'm curious, Mandy, so would you say both children and dogs, I think, can sense when you're being real and authentic and coming from your truest, what I call your light, your inner peace, your inner greatness. And so would you say that the children and dogs have that in common, that they want the authentic you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we create these thoughts and ideas in our minds about who we're supposed to be and how we're supposed to show up, and just be the beautiful, lovely light that you are. That's all anybody really wants.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is very, very interesting and beautiful to notice that in families that have a dog, what is this thing, this, I have no word for this, what magic is in front of us when we realize that when there is a family with all these tenses and fears and problems and difficulties and fights and loving moments, anything, there is a dog in the house who loves everybody, every moment, even when they fight, they love them all. They go to everybody to calm. There is no bad and good guy in the family. They are all the people they love, and they accept everybody. And if we give importance to this thing, to this point of view the dogs have, it would be just like that easy to stop the fight. I believe they are the mediators in a family. If there is a dog in a family, there is a mediator in the family.
Peacemaker.
Ooh, I love
Let's keep
that.
it peacemaker.
That is absolutely true.
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be great if every family had a dog. With this mindset, of course, not to have just to get off our rubbish on it, because many people who love dogs hate people. Many people who have dogs, they want to have just a place to put the rubbish from them. That's why they say that dogs, especially when they live in house with the people they love, because they take in their heart every feeling, emotion that exists, they get sick much more than the other time, the older time, when dogs were living outside the house, so they didn't have all this rubbish. They had the recycling with the nature, and so it was. Now the dogs have cancers because they take the cancer and the toxic feelings of the environment and people. Because you asked if they are fragile. They are not only fragile, they take the illness and all the toxic thing from the environment. They are very, very sensitive in that. Because they don't have, in the heart, they don't have borders. They put borders not to bother them and to show what they feel, but in their heart, the way they love is without limits. It's unlimitless and no borders. So everything goes, all the toxic feelings go inside. And this is very unfortunate.
But Sherry, what did you notice? Did you notice that, I mean, in terms of Lonzo sensing certain things within the family, with like what she was saying, I mean, in terms of fight or whatever, did you say, see, this Lonzo sensing all that, and what was the reaction?
You know, so I am a single woman who lived alone during the time I had Lonzo. So I do notice that he would, when people came over, there were people that he wanted to go to and interact with. He would definitely sniff most everyone out. It was interesting one time, and I write about it in here. He was not a dog who ever went downstairs. So my laundry room was in the lower level of the house, and the furnace and all of that. And one time though, a repair person came over and Lonzo went down the stairs, and he had been with me for a couple of years before that happened. And I was just shocked, like, here he is. And I felt though that he wanted to stand guard for me. Like, he's like, I don't know who this person is. I don't know, stranger. And he went down the stairs for the very first time. And it was just fascinating. So I think he definitely had a strong sense of, and he knew, like, I know there was one particular person who didn't like dogs, and Lonzo steered clear of that person. Like, Lonzo knew that energy. This is not my person. This is not the person who wants to love on me. And so he wasn't mean or aggressive with that person, but he cleared the distance. He cleared the space.
But could you sense those authentic self that came into your house and into your life? Could it sense the good human beings that came in? Could you?
Absolutely. And it's so fascinating because I think it was often children. He loved kiddos and kiddos loved him. And I remember one time I loved to play games, like board games, and I was part of this game group, and friends were over for a board game night. And one of them had brought their little son who was with another kid just playing in the living room. And they told Lonzo to roll over. I, at that point, had had Lonzo for a number of years. I didn't know he could roll over. And the kids, though, like, always went to Lonzo. They just loved Lonzo, no matter really what their age. I mean, there were like teenagers that would come over with their folks or littler kids, and they loved Lonzo, and Lonzo loved them. Like, there was maybe that authentic being, like, hey, we are all little beings shining our light, and we know who we are. And those adult humans, they got stuff going on sometimes, but we true beautiful lights that just let ourselves shine, we're going to stick together over here.
Now, Sherry, the important thing is that for people to buy it, there is a link in the description on the YouTube channel and also in my posts. So that Amazon link is there. But now whether it's available on Amazon in other countries or not, I don't know. Have you checked? Or is there a digital version also? A Kindle version? Or there must be a
I
Kindle.
believe it should be available, but if someone else, I know someone in another country got it on Kindle though. But you can order it, I believe, from other countries. It's only in English right now. My hope is to have it at least put into Spanish soon and on Audible.
Yep. Why not Greek also? Yes, Mandy?
Great.
Yeah.
You know, I will have to figure that out.
Yes,
Yeah, we should do that.
we could write a book together when Bach met Lonzo. We could
Oh, I love that.
because I feel we have so many in common. And my first son, Bach, he was also white. He was white.
Oh, that sounds great, Mandy. Let's talk.
When Lonzo met Bach, or Bach met Lonzo.
Let me see now. Let me check. Let me check India. Let me see if that.
See, Ramsey has Ramsey's hand up.
Ramsey wants
Thanks,
to come
Sherry.
in.
If I may, just briefly, I was really enjoying listening to the reflections from both Mandy and Sherry about qualities that we could learn from four-legged friends. And two things came to mind, and I wonder if you resonate with this or have different observations. One is, generally speaking, with four-legged friends, if they sense that a person is afraid of dogs, they will respond in what appears to be an aggressive way. And it brings to my mind that quite often aggression related energy is also related to fear in some way or other. This thing I've come across in mediation from time to time. The other thing that came to my mind, especially the question that you raised on comparison with children, is that I think with children, because they are young humans, we are overly relying on communication with words. Whereas with our four-legged friends, we are relying totally, well, not totally, I mean, of course, they understand some verbal commands, but a lot of communication is based on instinct and body language. And I think one difference which doesn't need to be there, and which we can learn from our four-legged friends perhaps, is to really pay more attention to the instincts of our children and communicate at an instinctive level rather than just relying on words all the time. Any thoughts?
You know, I'll speak to the energy level because we are energetic beings, and I do believe that our level of vibration attracts who's in our life. So when you're at a high level of peace and joy, you're probably having experiences with more joyful and peaceful people in your life. And I notice, and maybe you notice too in your mediations, when people are angry and frustrated, they've maybe attracted that same mate in a family situation, or that the same colleague or supervisor in a working relationship. And so our vibes and our energies are so important. One of the things that really struck me about Lonzo is he seemed to maintain a peace despite that. And so it's finding a way on some level to overcome it. So I am going to wake up every day and say, I am going to be a loving, joyful, compassionate, peaceful being. Whatever anybody else does, that's their choice. And I'm going to choose in advance who I'm going to be so their energy doesn't impact who I am or how I show up. It might change whether or not I spend time with them or how much time I spend with them, but I'm going to be fully aware of who I am and how I'm being. And that was a huge sense that I got from Lonzo. He's like, I'm going to be this way. I'm going to be my authentic, peaceful, playful self. And I may not spend time with you if you're not, unless you're really my person and I notice that you're just having an off day. But if I sense that your vibrational energy is that you are not at my level, I might step back.
I think connecting to that, sensing the energy, I think that's something which is the important part, definitely. So yes, Sherry, what else do you want to tell us about the book?
It really is an invitation to step into your own sense of inner peace. And as I mentioned in the book, the practice of peace takes practice. It is not a one and done activity by any stretch of the imagination. I've been working on it for 5 decades and I still feel like an amateur. Yet we can each and every day just raise our own level of awareness, check in with ourselves. So this book is an invitation to check in with yourself. And as you find, the more gentle you are with yourself, the more gentle you will be able to be with the people around you. And then you're going to be able to generate and be the peace. So I hope you take a look at this, maybe keep it by your bedside or read it once a week or read it once a day. But there's lots of lessons, and I see this as one of those books that people will return to again and again just for self-reflection and a little lift me up and feel good cheer.
Actually,
And I would love to chat with anybody about the book who wishes to reach out.
Perfect. But actually, I can actually put up the Amazon page itself. There were other stuff. There are other people also who've written there something about. Read this out. Okay, you did read this out. Perfect. Because I think in other countries it's the Kindle version which is available, as it seems. Because I was looking at delivery in India and it's showing me the Kindle version. And this is the US one, but I was looking at the India one. So I think right now,
if you click on paperback, I'd be curious if it lets you get that. I would think it would.
no,
I could order it in Costa Rica.
I was looking at Deliver to India at that time. It showed me the Deliver to India paperback. Let's see.
May I ask something?
Yes, ma'am. Please.
Why don't you have a dog? I mean, you have the feeling that it's a feeling that it's created for a special dog. What this happens, or is just a channel that is opening in a kind of love? Because I remember when I lost my back, I was afraid that I wouldn't love again a dog. But it's incredible how this channel has opened, and it's very, very easy to feel again the same feelings without forgetting the love you have with dog. Have you had this experience to love and other dogs? Sherry?
Oh, are you? To me, right now, I don't have a dog because I ended up selling my house, and now I'm living in an association that does not allow pets. And I also am wintering in Costa Rica. And so right now, a furry four-legged does not really fit my lifestyle. And I miss having a dog greatly. And I think there's going to be a time down the road where I have one again. And this time right now is I would not have the time to commit to a little furry four-legged and give it the time and attention needed and worthy of.
Yeah, it is a commitment. Do you have about the sense of now and the power of now dogs have in your book?
The power of now, like being fully present now. Yes, there is a lesson. Being here now. Be here now.
I'll be here. Great. Great.
Where
Great. I look
you?
forward to read your book.
Oh, it was such a pleasure to meet you, Ramsey and Mandy and Mediator Vikram. It's always a pleasure to spend time with you. Thank you so much. And I will, before you wrap up, Mediator Vikram, I invite everyone, be gentle with you, be gentle with all, be the peace.
Very nice message. Your wonderful messages that you say, give out on all your the events also and here also. It's very nice to hear all that. And I hope you have a good trip. You're having a good trip to Costa Rica, and hopefully you'll have a house at one point of time. And you have a four-legged friend, another one.
Dog. We wish to have a dog. That means that everything is ready.
And then we'll have lessons from that four-legged friend while the four-legged friend is there. So we'll keep asking you about that. So all that is going to happen. So Sherry, thank you very much. Always a pleasure. And please, what you have to do, Sherry, is also create some mediation circles. Now,
Dogs,
whatever it could be, whatever is the circles, but we need to create circles. Now the activity is creating circles. People who are creating circles are active are the ones who are going to be part of activities now. It's very clear. So Sherry, wherever you are, Costa Rica mediation circle. We're okay with that. Anyway, so please do that. So thank you very much, Sherry, Mandy, Ramsey, for coming in.
Great to be with you.
We will launch the France mediation circle tomorrow. That's going to happen. And we also, actually, the Ireland one should happen on the 26th on Andrea's birthday. Hopefully that happens. We're trying to fix the time for that. So that's all that's going to happen, I think, in this month, which is quite a bit. So thank you very much. I'll definitely